Check 1, 2. Hello.
Hello.
There we go. One more? Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Nice. Stream is up for me as well. Let me just make sure everything's fine on the Twitch end. One quick one.
Yo.
All right, we're good.
Let's go.
We're a minute early, but that's fine by me. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lucky Fuzzies podcast. I'm your host, Synder, here with my two valuable guests. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yo, who's first? I guess that's me. First off, can we swear or are we going to be PG friendly?
Fuck that shit.
13.
There we go, that's my answer. Alright guys, what's good? I'm Drift. You guys, if you don't know me, I am a UK FGC, mainly FGC photographer. Filmed a lot of stuff, a lot of events, mainly around Europe, specifically in the UK. But I have a little bit of knowledge of fighting games and their community, sorry.
My name is Itchy. Some people just call me Itchy. My job is nothing as interesting as Drift, so I won't get into it. But I've been hanging around the FGC since about 2005 or 6. I am a mod for Sajam in his Twitch chat and his Discord, and I suck at fighting games, so you know.
And I'm Synder. I'm no one too special. I've done a few tournaments specifically for the Soul scene back in the day, but I got back into fighting games a bit more recently when I realized that basically every Souls player is just a fighting game player at the end of it, to be honest. But anyway, I'm your host, and I'm here with Drift and Ichigeki, and we're about to get into the news, some tournaments that are coming up, some announcements as far as games, and some impressions we have on current games that are going on at the moment, or at least a specific game, that is, the obvious one. So, let's get right into it. Give me 1 second, making sure the stream is titled correctly. There we go. Alright, so first thing on the block is going to be Street Fighter, Capcom. Too much love.
There we go. So we're going for Street Fighter Capcom first, yeah?
Yeah.
Boom. Alright, cool. So where are we starting, Cinder? Are we talking about new season? Or are we talking about how they broke what they've currently got and going backwards and now just having to fix it? Because there's I've seen a lot of game-changing, game-breaking issues. I say game-breaking, it's disability causing issues like mono sound and a lot of flashing for epileptic people.
Yeah,
let's talk about the good over the bad at least first. Those probably for the best. Lead off with the good news.
Alright, good news. We got a new patch. We got a new season. It's apparently the final season of Street Fighter V, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Or at least that's what we think it is.
That's what we think, right? That's no one has their uncle in Capcom, not working at Capcom, right? So we don't know the final news. But obviously, Capcom Pro Tour 2020 finished last month, February, week after my birthday. But now Season 5 has dropped. We have a new battle mechanic. We have Dan. We have the brand new character that we didn't realize was coming, 11, and it looks fun. I've not actually tried it myself because I am knee deep into Guilty Gear, and we'll come on to that later, I'm sure.
The most
Ichi?
important thing announced, a new training stage.
Oh shit, yeah, my bad. The new training stage, that you have dark mode, sorry, not black mode, dark mode, and it doesn't burn your eyes. How's the music on that stage, actually?
The old dark mode training stage, aka the only other stage you're gonna see online because of how stages work in Street Fighter.
And Netcode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of sad. But
Playing
anyway,
Weissing match, I didn't really notice the music being any super different, but I mean it's not offensive.
yeah. I've checked out the season a bit myself. There've been some interesting changes. The meta doesn't seem to be changing up too much. At least they didn't adjust any of the top tiers by a lot, but they did give some lower tier characters some nice nerfs. Not nerfs, nice. Oh God, it's not nerf. Actually, we're gonna get into that one too. But no, they gave some nice lower tier characters some buffs. I think one specifically they gave some nice things too was Cody. I was trying him out. They gave Ed a few.
No, hold on, you saying Cody was low tier?
Well, not low tier, but lower tier. Lower. He's not
Okay, I'll
set.
take that.
He's not set. But no, they gave some characters that weren't high on the tier list, weren't top 5 essentially, some buffs that they could use. But they touched some lower tier characters that I feel like don't necessarily need to be touched. Dawson?
Give me an
You need
example.
that?
Dawson?
Dawson?
Sim got nerfed hard.
Sim was low tier though.
What do you say?
I said I don't think Sim was low tier at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's low tier. What a lower, like he's not top. I don't know if I put him like top 7, for example.
No, of course not. No.
Yeah, but I do think the nerfs were a bit questionable. I understand the reason,
Aggressive.
however. Yeah.
Yeah, from what Broski's been tweeting about lately with Dalsim, he
Pain.
is crying.
He's in pain. I understand.
He is in pain.
Also means
a lot.
Let's be honest.
True,
Shambles.
that is very true. Dalsim mains are always crying, but Broski is a very smart gentleman, and he has played Street Fighter 5 possibly from the beginning. I want to say from the beginning. I can't be sure on that one. But he knows his stuff, right? And if he says Sim is now nerfed, I'll believe him, because he's been a Dalsim loyalist since day 0 to me.
Yeah. I think that's something interesting to look at, is how things change for characters that are not at the top, but more so along the mid tier, to see if they've gotten to a state where they can be more competitively played.
Yeah, I think one thing I always hear is that it's not buffs and nerfs per season, it's more leveling of each character so that everyone's at a base level. Because for season 4, it was at a decent level, correct me if I'm wrong. Like everyone was roughly, apart from the top 5, who we all know is whatever, and that's always argued, but everyone could be competitive to an extent without breaking down.
I agree. I mean, at a top level, besides like a couple, like maybe like 3 characters, which even then you still saw them. It was rough.
Yeah.
Pretty much anyone can win, like especially like a local or anything like that, but can do a lot of work, and beat other characters. It's not like there's characters that are just like, well, this is my life now. I'm not winning.
Yeah.
That bottom tier life. I mean, we all watched Evo Japan, right?
My bad. What did you say?
Evo Japan, like Nauman, who won me a sum of money, wasn't too big, but he won with Sakura at Evo in Japan against Japanese top players.
Precisely.
Yeah, but I don't think Sakura is as bad as everyone. Again, I think that was more of people being super unfamiliar with Sakura, because I can't think of a single person at like a high enough level that played Sakura.
This is actually an interesting discussion. do you think that the characters that this can go for any fighting game, but on average, do you think character tiers are very reflective when most people don't even play the lower tier characters?
So I've talked about this in a couple of Discords, but I have a problem with Japanese, specifically like the way the Japanese do their tier list. The Japanese pro players, they look at so they not really a problem, but like they do their tier list based on current meta. And if a character isn't being played in the current meta, or if like no one's playing it, they're really
at the bottom.
Yeah, they just don't. They just sort of push them off to the side.
And that happens in a lot of games too. Like I've seen that in Dragon Ball a lot when I was following that a lot. You'd see characters that were near the bottom, and you'd go, because on other tier lists, say from NA, those characters would be more along the mid tier. But in Japan, if the character's not played, they sort of just don't even see them.
Like again, Sakura, if I'm remembering correctly, was like at best like E-, maybe even like C+ in some of the tier lists that I saw for Japan from some of the top players. And meanwhile, they had Dhalsim in like A+ and Zangief in A+. And I'm like, y'all really think he's that good? You just hate playing against him, type of thing.
I can kind of see that. And I do agree to an extent. Japanese tier lists are whack. Tier lists in general are whack. We should not be promoting them in any way, shape, or form, really, because the matchup knowledge on paper can differ, or not even differ. It's per player, right? The characters themselves can be whatever, but it's how you play them, because we're the ones controlling them at the end of the day. But what was our original point? Street Fighter, Dhalsim being nerfed, or just in general?
We were talking about buffs and nerfs and how Dhalsim got nerfed in the latest patch. Another character that got adjusted a lot though was Ryu. Ryu went from being lower tier.
Boy, he went from the sheets to the streets.
Indeed, Ryu went from rags to riches in this patch. If anyone's been playing Ryu, do you guys have any impressions on him? I tried him out a little bit in training mode, and I could definitely tell that he got some nice changes.
Like I said, I've not been playing Street Fighter 5 because I've been knee deep in Guilty Gear.
Fair enough.
Mediocrity, who is in my chat currently, J-tier Ryu no more. He is definitely not J-tier anymore.
J-tier.
From what I've seen, I would say he's probably A-, maybe B+.
And that's a big jump because a lot of people had him near the bottom, correct?
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't strong. Like outside of his dash, which was one of the, if not the fastest in Street Fighter 5, he didn't really have much. He had to mix you up with a true schmix. And if you don't have that, then your Ryu's just gonna sit there and play Street Fighter 2. You play neutral, you play Fuzzies, and hope to win and hope the opponent makes a mistake. Now Ryu can just go in and go ham.
You do love to see the buffs.
Yeah, I have played against Ryu a few times in just casual matches, and it's definitely, yeah, they definitely are more out there. But just from like seeing like a lot of Twitter videos, some stream matches, things like that, some people playing it on stream. Like Drift said, he's definitely got some sauce now. I agree. I think he's like in like super early looks, probably like B+ tier. But he does damage now though. Like his combos are like, he's got some crazy wall bounce combos that I've seen on Twitter that are just like, man, that does not look fun.
See, that's the thing though, of watching those Twitter clips and seeing the wall bounce videos, they were always there. They weren't as apparent because not many people actually played Ryu that highly. The only person I could think of, possibly, that would play Ryu consistently was Jimmy out here in the EU.
So that stuff was pretty much always there, minus a few things.
Yeah, minus like the smidgen of damage, that damage boost he got now. The wall bounce, the schmicks, you basically have to work less to get that damage now. You go in, V skill, V trigger 2, go ham, and basically follow up a fireball with the punch dash thing, the Makoto dash punch, and then you're in. And then you can get like invulnerable DPs out for no reason.
He's out here. I know from my experience, I've been playing. Man, every single time you go online, there's at least a good 5 reuse per session.
Oh yeah, they're out there now.
Yeah, they out there.
The street.
You know what's funny? You can low key tell the reuse from each other because a lot of them use one skin. You guys know what is it? His school uniform skin, where he has the
tracksuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either the school uniform or the tracksuit. But then every once in a blue moon, you see the one really good Ryu, and he always has the Halloween costume on. Every time I see the Halloween Ryu, I'm like, a worthy opponent. But no,
that or be Ryu.
Indeed. But no,
I got smurfed on by Ryu like 2 days ago in casuals, and I was like, okay. And he was doing like fat, like actual combos, and it was terrifying.
I understand.
All right, we'll move on from one Shoutout to the next, because obviously we got the new character. We got Dan, and it's been about a week now since the patch dropped for the latest season.
About so, yeah. Maybe 6 days?
6 days, nearly a week, yeah. Esther Wild in chat. Ryu, is that Fortnite character that's joining as a guest? Yes, that one. The one that's holding a shotgun. The one that stole it from Sagat. We all know that meme. Shotos. From Ryu to Dan, 6 days. I'm seeing a lot of differing opinions now that he's being fleshed out a bit by a few guys.
There's a lot of...
your
Dan is definitely an interesting character to look at. He has some... I almost said it. I almost said the low tier trap phrase. If y'all don't know it, if anyone ever says he has some stuff, that character's low tier. But no, Dan looks interesting. He has a fireball, which is not meant to keep your opponent out, but his fireball sort of is good for plus frames almost, I think is what it is in the corner when he's doing his pressure. And his pressure seems really solid because of his taunt cancels. But at the same time, I could see him struggling in certain scenarios, especially because he doesn't have a 3-frame.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah, he has problems in maybe.
Yeah, it's like once he's in, he can stay there because of his pressure, but he has to work hard to get there.
Yeah, and people saying that he was going to be busted, and he looked busted from the showcase that we saw, which I don't have a link to anymore right now. But Dan looked busted. It's been 6 days. He has now, by a few players, I believe I saw Angry Bird and Big Bird, one of the birds, tweet about it, that they've dropped him down to mid-tier, possibly bottom mid. So he's quite low now. I think because he doesn't have that pressure to get in. But once he is in, and all the memeing stuff you see from Desk and all the other guys with like the 9,999 damage and the instant kill taunt, which I'm not sure if you guys seen yet.
Oh yeah, the taunt is hilarious.
Yeah, the taunt's amazing, but instant kills Dan, the enemy Dan, if you're playing Dan apparently. It's weird. Yeah, he is bottom mid tier. Bottom mid tier, however you want to pronounce, however you want to say it. He isn't high up on the list, and I can see it. He is gonna be someone, hopefully, Ixion here in the EU. I'm just repping EU because you guys are from the US, so I've got a shout out to boys everywhere. EU Ixion, he was Street Fighter 4's premier Dan. You played him, and he goes, "This is not Dan. You got schmicks. You got messed up hard. I played against him, and I'm not a top player, and I can't hold my own, but I could see he's got sauce."
Yeah, I remember watching clips from Ixion and him in some tournaments from back in the day when I sort of first started watching Street Fighter in general. Like basically, it's him and Ultra David, but I don't even know if Ultra David is playing Street Fighter V all that much. I know he said he had some interest in it, but Ixion, I think you're right, is sort of where we might see some of the super determined stuff come in. Someone who's going to put time into seeing how well this character can do in the long run.
Pretty cool.
We'll have to see how that character develops over time for sure. Yeah. Let's see what top tiers got hit hard. G actually got some very interesting changes. Specifically, his V trigger 1 going from being now having a variable timer depending on his presidency level before it activates.
So basically, level 3 it acts as the old V trigger. Is that how I'm understanding it?
I believe so. Yeah, it's either about the same, if not a little longer than the old V trigger. But the other two, level 1 and level 2, are significantly shorter. So
Interesting.
it
I mean,
takes
again, all the birds tweeted out recently, as in today, in the last few hours, they've dropped G down because you can now sit still and not be grabbed, whereas before in season 4, you sat still for 2 seconds, you were gonna get command grab.
And in addition to that, there's also the obvious new new mechanic we can have to talk about, which is V shift coming to the game.
Yeah.
Now, personally, in my experience, V shift feels like, and I always thought it felt like this upon first thought. It feels like it's almost like a DP, but instead of retaliating, you're moving out of the way. The obvious issue with it is that you have to time it precisely.
See, that's the thing. You say you time it precisely, but from what I've seen, again, because I'm not playing Street Fighter 5 yet, I've got the patch up installed and waiting for me to boot up Street Fighter. But from what I've seen, people will just V-shift in neutral for the sake of V-shifting. Like they're both just sitting still, standing there, and suddenly player one's just gonna V-shift for no reason.
It do be like that.
Yeah, I mean, some people are just gonna do it to do it because they're freaking head empty, no thoughts type shit.
Return the monkey. Let's go.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I think I saw somewhere that the window for it to do the actual full shift is 9 frames, 7 to 9 frames. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. I think that's around what it was, which is pretty big, at least to me, anyways. Also, you get back if it does the time slow down, you get back half of your V meter. So I think people were obviously with any new thing, they were kind of losing their mind over it because it was being shown off in a super positive light and all the punishes that people were doing with it. I don't think it's as good as that is, but I think it's something that is going to be super a read base. It's going to become a mind game component instead of just being a mechanic.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. My question is, and the thought just came to me just now, is you can V reversal certain supers and get out of jail. One example is Akuma's. You V reversal that, you knock him out, his explosion doesn't happen or whatever, and you get out of jail. What happens if you V shift his super CA critical art, and punish him?
So I think it depends on the super itself, because I think I've seen someone try to V-shift G's super, and then they V-shifted the first hit of it, and then got smoked by the last ones.
I was gonna say, yeah, that seems like something that comes down to active frames, because I know with some moves you can V-shift part of it, but if the super's still going towards you, welp.
Yeah.
Hold that.
Yeah.
Kuma's, because it depends on how wide Akuma's super is versus how much you V-shift back. Same thing with someone like Urian, I guess, too.
That was also something I noticed. V-shift seems completely based on how far your character already backdashes. So if you
really?
Yeah, because I forget what character I was testing it on, but they already had a decently short backdash. so it kind of barely hopped them anywhere.
Okay.
But I feel that leaves the question of how much does that affect things since you're already invincible?
I think
True.
it definitely affects the 3A talk, because if your backdash is like really good, you might be able to backdash out of like Urian's super or
Yeah.
Akuma's super with
That's just giving me PTSD from Street Fighter 4 Rose, who is coming, by the way. She is coming into Season 5 Street Fighter 5. And I know Luffy here in France is rubbing his hands together, can't wait, because he's going to mess people up, especially with like what he's done with Mika. If Rose is anywhere like her Street Fighter 4 version, I am scared.
air fireball now. I don't know why they decided to give that to her.
She needs it.
Because she can't have a dive kick. She needs it, basically. Yeah, she can't have a dive kick, so she's got an air fireball.
Yeah, dude.
Hold that.
But no, moving on from patch notes, V shifts, etc. Let's talk about the a bit of the bad that's going on currently with Street Fighter. So, I've noticed plenty recently. The servers seem kind of on the fritz, to say the least.
Chunky.
There are going to be some maintenance changes, they said on the 3rd, however. So tomorrow, we may see some adjustments, maybe it evens itself out. But there have definitely been some weird things going on with the servers and the netcode in matches.
Yeah. I know.
So I've got.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Drew.
No, go on, you wait.
Like I think I played like 7 or 8 matches, and I'm East Coast, and probably 3 or 4 of those matches had like some real chunky moments that, I mean, and obviously this is, you know, not scientific measuring or anything like that, but it felt a lot worse than previous times when it had done the slowdown stuff. It felt like way chunkier.
Okay, so I've got the tweet here from Street Fighter, saying issues they're going to be fixed. I've clicked on the link, and it looks to be supposedly fixed. Going to be fixed on the 4th. So there's a server maintenance of Street Fighter 5 on the 4th of this month, so in 2 days' time. Few things to note. One thing I have seen and heard myself is music going into mono mode, so it's not in stereo. So that actually was found out by a deaf player, I believe, or sorry, a blind player. Deaf, obviously, they couldn't be able to hear. I am dumb. That's me personally. I'm just 2 brain cells. But yeah, a blind player who obviously uses sound to help him fight in Street Fighter. Mono sound is not helpful. And so that was one thing. The other thing which I saw, and someone tweeted out again, was well, actually, there's 2 things. One, Gil turning into Urian halfway through a V trigger.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, this happened in training mode. On, I think it was a stage of power. In the corner, if you hit Gil with some sort of move, I can't remember what it was, halfway through, and you hit him, he V-shifts or V-triggers. Oh no, sorry, it was V-shifted. It was actually V-shifted. He V-shifted from Gil. His character turned to Urian, and also the character icon at the top left to show what player you've chosen or what character you've chosen turns into Urian.
That's amazing.
That is hilarious.
That is a higher tier.
Basically, you V-shift into a higher tier. That is how V-shift is supposed to work. And lastly, last thing I did see was Urian. Again, he is cursed, it seems, this season right now, with this patch. In the corner, in the on Nash's stage with the vines and stuff, on the right-hand corner, if you knock the opponent up and do a fireball into the air, the fireball, not the ice ball, it will flash so briefly for a frame that the whole screen fills white, and it basically is going to cause an epileptic fit pretty soon on someone. It's pretty bad.
Jesus.
That's definitely going to need a fix. Which hopefully it is fixed, as they say is scheduled. Let's hope there's no spaghetti code that causes even more bugs to prop up.
I would imagine things like that they are going to nail down pretty quickly.
Like, yeah. There are some other bugs as well.
The audio and the flashing thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are some other bugs that have been propped up. Let's pull it up here. There's a really crazy one to me here, at least as someone who doesn't play on Steam. It says for Steam players, if you use the screenshot function with F12, it'll just cause the game client to forcefully close.
I mean, that's one way to alt tab in F4 and do whatever on a
it's a
PC.
faster button too. F12, you don't have to hit 2 buttons, just one.
Go.
Easy. That's crazy to me. You try and take a screenshot as you get the W. Oh, the game's down.
You rage quit out. Don't even get the points. See you later. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yeah, the other big one I've seen is the Vega one. I don't know if it's listed up there.
Yeah.
He just like
Ken and Vega.
Zooming. I haven't seen the Ken one. I've seen the Vega one where he does his little wall jump into the claw dive, and he just goes.
Goes where?
Anywhere that he's going.
Okay.
So he'll basically do the wall jump into the claw dive, where he like goes horizontal, and he carries you across the screen, but there's no hitbox on it, so it just pushes you back.
So he's off to Mars. Like his people need him. He's flying off.
He's not flying up. He's flying at you. He's going screen to screen, corner to corner.
Let's go.
He's a superhero, man.
Yeah, that's it.
There's
Superman.
You said there's a Ken one?
Yeah, there's an issue with Ken where if he'll V-shift, some moves just won't work. Like, just completely. Like, while they're being countered, while Ken is being countered with V-shift, some moves just will not complete. So they said they're going to be adjusting the hitboxes so the move recoveries will perform as intended. We'll see how that goes. It happens with Vega as well. Nikali has an issue where he just straight up causes desync, which I actually saw in one of my matches. I was booting up. Yes, I was booting up a match, right? And my opponent has Nikali, and I was going, okay, time to play another match. Oh, connection lost. And I didn't realize what it was until it happened specifically during his V-trigger, and I fought 2 other Nikalis, and I was like, okay, this is a bug. This has to be.
Damn. Forcing you to rage quit out. Jesus.
Man. Chun-Li and Jury have a V-shift bug, it says, that causes them to move back farther.
You got the super backdash.
So Jury needs that.
Jury
but
need that. They don't need to fix that one on Jury. They could take it away from Chun-Li though.
Oh, facts. That's facts.
Hitting Dan during the second half of his jumping light punch jump arc will ground him. That's very specific. I ain't seen that.
They mean that it forces him to stay on the ground, or that it immediately like drops him to the ground.
Well, you know.
SPD. Russian is protected. Let's go.
Yeah. It says it'll ground him, which I assume affects him the same way Alex's new heavy punch buff, where it knocks them right down while they're in the sky.
Possibly.
I haven't seen that one confirmed though. But no. As some things get better, some things stay the same, some things continue. The game gets updates, but
interested in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super interested in seeing any tournaments, any like big. I mean, obviously we have NLPC and Wednesday night fights, but maybe some like bigger regional online tournaments for Street Fighter V. See if anyone's got anything crazy. Someone brings out a new character.
If anyone's saving that shit for nationals.
Yeah. Well, I've heard on the Twitter wire, some people are like, especially because Daigo's been using him, but Fang or Fong, however you want to pronounce his name,
FANG, all capitalized.
Some people have been like pushing him up a little bit more, saying he's got some stuff. I don't know if he got buffed or nerfed. I mean, I hope he didn't get nerfed, but I don't know if he got any buffs.
He got some interesting buffs. I know one of them was in his V trigger, his V skill hits twice. The projectile one, he got some other buffs. I can't think of them off top though, but he did get some interesting things that could help him out as a character.
Interesting.
Fang has always been one of my favorite new characters. Fang and G probably. For Street Fighter V, I know people don't like Fang because they think he's like fucking weird and stuff, but I actually really like his style. I think they could improve his design a little bit, but I
He
like
do got a
like,
long head.
style.
He has got an 8 head. It's not even a 5 head anymore.
He looks like a Q-tip. All right, it's
He is a Q-tip. He is definitely a Q-tip. No, I'm with you, WG. He does, as a design, look nice, look cool. Sorry, not. He doesn't look nice. He looks cool. He plays shit.
I think it's the opposite way. I think that his playstyle and his game plan and stuff is really cool. I like the jumping around, the crazy movement, the poison. I think that if they improved his character design, he could be a really cool character.
I just wish his head wasn't the size of an oval, with the shape of an oval. Like the character, I agree with Ichi there. I like his play style. I like how his like his game plan, his tools. His tools are very interesting to me. Like the moment I saw poison, he had me hooked. I was like, oh, so we got the real defensive play style now. I'm finna hit you with poison one time, and then I'm finna chill.
Yeah, he's not a
those-
super defensive character though.
No, he goes in. But
Yeah.
for those that don't play Street Fighter 5, to describe what Bong Fang looks like, imagine Hey Arnold. And imagine Arnold from Hey Arnold, football head. But instead of being horizontal football head, he is vertical.
Exactly, actually. That's exactly what he looks like.
I'm sorry to ruin Hey Arnold for you guys, but that is probably the best way to describe him.
Drifting
It's
wrong
just
for
no.
doing Fang like that, man.
I mean, how
he told
can I
facts,
ruin
though.
Hey Arnold like that? Fuck Fang. I don't care about Fang. But how can I ruin Hey Arnold like that? I 2 bullets, man. Just shoot him.
Shoot him. In fact, hold on.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the only other thing I've really heard like too much noise about, besides like obviously Ryu and stuff like that, and people complaining about Dawson. Some people complaining about Seth getting nerfed, but generally I think even the Seth mains have been like, yeah, you know what, he kind of
He could use some adjustments.
Exactly. Right, shall we move on? Because we've spoken about Street Fighter for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Got a bit other things on the news.
So
What news have
moving
we got
on
today?
from Street Fighter, yeah, let's get into it. Plus R, Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus R specifically, is getting a patch update actually.
Let's go.
Did it already happen?
It has already happened. It happened
Okay, yeah.
this morning for me, UK time. So that was probably just about midnight for US Central.
Yep.
And so I've got the tweet up here. Plus R has received a new update in the public test branch. To receive the update, you must opt back into the beta via Steam settings, instructions and applies. See attached pics for full patch notes. They are legendary, and I am just going to quickly breeze through these patch notes for everyone that's here listening in and reading this. And basically, all of this covers is training mode stuff. So there is new extensive training dummy options. There's multiple recording slots. So a bit like Street Fighter 5, you have more slots so you can record certain actions and link them all up to perform like an enemy would. New playback mode, which controls exactly how the dummy executes the recording. No more option auto flip. So for your dummy in training mode, they will if you put in a Dragon Punch motion. Try not to use shorthand. Dragon Punch motion. In the old version of Plus R, I say the old version, the previous update before this, if you swap sides against your the dummy, it will just keep going to the left. So if your opponent was already on the right and you put in a Dragon Punch, so a down, forward, down, you know what I mean, to the left, towards the left, it will just keep going that way. So now it will auto flip to the correct side of you. So it will always do it in Dragon Punch. Instant option skips any idle walking, so it just goes straight into punching it in the face. New stun reset, new state options, so low attack, memory. Low attack option causes the training dummy to periodically perform a character-specific low attack, so 2D. State repeat. Let's have a look what else. Reversal action. Attack, jump, dash, forward, for options cause the dummy to immediately perform the respective actions. So you don't even need to match that for yourself. You can just tell the dummy to throw out a throw. Random option selects from all the above. New guard option, new balance guard balance reset. I say new balance reset, Jesus. Auto burst, new burst delay, new dead angle, new input features. Here's the most important one: new replay features. So you got input display, which the game didn't used to have. Option to hide usernames. Rewind support, so you can now go backwards in your replay, so you can actually go back frame by frame or go forward, so you actually have control over your video. You can pause, you can take control. Now here's the most interesting part: take control option. Ability to take over as player 1 or player 2 at any point in the replay. Network mode to run performance test, blah 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 blah, bug fixes, and the rest of that. The most important thing that everyone is hyped about in this patch is the replay features, which a lot of current generation games, fighting games, don't have this option.
Yeah, I think +R is like the only game now that has that.
I think specifically the take control option is
anyone else has that, right?
Yeah, I don't think anyone has that except +R now.
Yeah.
And the take control option, both at least surface level, this is gonna make going back and figuring out how to get out of a situation your opponent puts you in so much easier.
Yep. So like, imagine if you were getting mixed up 50-50. You hit that replay. Is that how they do me? Okay, cool. Like, and you don't even have to set that up anymore. Like in Street Fighter 5, you got to set up that specific situation, and it's so hard. Yo, Pat, thank you very much for the follow. But yeah, in a fighting game where things are very situational in every round, trying to remember and trying to set up that specific situation in training mode is the worst thing in the world. The fact that you can now do this in a replay and go, okay, I'm going to pause here, I'm going to take control here, and I'm just going to try all my options until I find one that works.
Yes, especially in +R where like weight is the thing.
Wait.
Yeah. Ringe has talked about this on stream because he's a Zato player.
Yeah, shout out to Ringe, by the way. He's a good guy.
And he was saying that like sometimes setting up combos in training mode on other characters, like he doesn't know what to do, or he has trouble with it because he doesn't play that character, or if someone's or the opposite, like people don't play a lot of Zato. So trying to find combos that work on him, having to like know how to do his stuff is a challenge. But with something like this, it makes it a lot easier.
I think a very interesting thing from this, not even just 50-50s, but setting up things that you don't know. Another interesting thing is going to be labbing out how to beat your specific opponent's neutral approach. Because a lot of things happen in the neutral and fighting games where people are filling each other out that goes by almost unthought of, I feel like. Well, not unthought of, but unconsidered in a lot of certain scenarios, where you'll be able to go back, see what your opponent did exactly, and with the take control option, see how you could have beat it.
Yeah, yeah.
The take control option is actually pretty huge. It's almost like going back with a Dark Souls boss and fighting it again and again.
Well, I mean, yeah, like stuff like microspacing and like shimmy. So like like you were saying, like let's say you're in the corner and your opponent has you pinned, and then they shimmy and then they counter hit you, and you're like, damn, I got counter hit. But you don't really focus on that because it's not like something that you normally lab out. It's not like a combo lab out, right? But with this, you can go in and be like, okay, well, would this have worked? No? Okay, would this have worked? No? Oh, this would have worked. Okay, so now I know that if I'm in the corner against this character and they do this, I can, press this button and it'll either, get me out of there, or I can hit them before they do, whatever it is.
This is one of the things I wish all fighting games have. Like, even before this came out for Guilty Gear +R, or anything called +R, whatever you want to call it, I wish Street Fighter 5 had it, because I don't want to learn my opponent's character just to put me in that situation so then I can get out of it. I just want to hit a button, hit that replay and go, yep, okay, Mika's gonna command grab me here. I can backdash. I can do whatever. Or fucking Urian, he's gonna mirror me right here. What can I do? Like, okay, obviously Urian a bit easier, but I don't play charge characters. I hate charge characters with my existence. Absolutely despise them. I don't have that patience to hold down back, which is kind of funny because I down back a lot. But
I can understand that.
I can't put in charge movement. Imagine if we had this back in Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo when you're trying to do Guile's Super, which was a down back forward down back up kick, and like I could never get that shit out. Like I could never done it.
I think another interesting thing with this too is going and looking at characters that you usually can't play. Not only does this make labbing out the scenarios easier, you can play it from that person's perspective as well.
Yep.
Which you can see what you're doing wrong, not only from just going back and watching it and trying to play it back from your side. You can play it from their side and seeing, okay, exactly where did I leave this hole? What did he do? Okay, let's see if I can recreate this scenario, do it myself, and see, oh, that's exactly why this worked.
No, it's also, you play against yourself, you turn around and go, why am I this dumb? Why am I just head empty, buttons heavy?
Yeah, why am I mashing?
Why am I just punching my face, smashing my face against my controller, and it works? Why does this work?
I do think this is
It's
definitely
some
gonna.
self-reflection shit.
I think a side effect of this, we're gonna see a lot more people in lab, at least in plus R, because people are going to be trying this out a lot more, at least at higher levels of play. You're gonna see a lot of people going, okay, this option beat this. Let's go back. Let's rewind. Okay, this is how I beat that. Like I can see like very good, like really focused Guilty Gear players. Like a good one off the first thought is Lord Knight. He plays Millia, and I can see him going back.
Does he still play?
He was playing on stream mode not too long ago, to my knowledge.
Oh damn, okay. All right.
And he could go back and go, okay, I'm playing Millia. This character did this in this scenario. What options does Millia have to beat this, etc., etc. And I know he's very big on labbing for watching his Dragon Ball streams.
I mean, this is groundbreaking in my eyes, especially for a game that is, what, 15 years old? That's 15 years since launch, that we suddenly have great netcode, and in the current times of the pandemic of 2020/2021, this has been a lifesaver for fighting games in my eyes, because I would not have been playing Street Fighter now if this happened, because I would have given up. I would have just ripped out the rest of my hair, because apparently I'm balding. Funny story, later chat, I will tell you about it.
Ooh.
I say funny. Just some white names being dumb. But yeah, like with Rollback, I can now play Australia. I can play East Coast, West Coast. I play Canada without a blink of an eye. I don't even need to consider which region, which country you're from, and just say, yeah, let's fight. Whereas Street Fighter, I was like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Street Fighter is super nebulous in that, because sometimes the netcode is just like it feels perfectly fine.
And then sometimes we have times like now where it's pretty chunky.
Yeah, it's because, like I said, I don't play Street Fighter all that much. I play maybe 10-15 matches a week, casual mode mainly, just scrubbing it up down there. But it's definitely like something where I feel like your internet connection, along with some other stuff, affects it more than anything else. I have really good internet where I am right now, and I'm also not on Wi-Fi like a degenerate. So usually my connection is pretty solid. But like in Strive, Drift is right. Like I played probably a good 20 matches in Strive. And I played someone in Australia. I played someone, and I'm East Coast United States. I played someone in Middle Europe, Eastern Europe. I played someone in Japan once, and while it was high MS. It wasn't like
Yeah,
bad.
that's the worst I had was Japan.
Oof, man. He said
Yeah.
20 matches. Drift, how many matches you playing? Strive.
In Strive, oh god, I didn't even count. It was a lot. Like I missed out. Well, I say I missed out. So I didn't get early access because I am not a VTuber. I got early access for the streaming content. However, when because I have a day job 9 to 5, the second I logged off work at 5 p.m. and I tried to log on to Strive to stream it and play, servers went down. So obviously, rolling back a bit, haha, see what I did there. Strive had a beta, and that beta, whilst good, had issues, and the servers kept going down. Like this is some information that we should definitely share whilst we talk about this, because otherwise, oh yeah, Rollback's great, but two things: Strive uses a really bad lobby system that is actually probably delay based from what it looks like, because it's really dumb.
It's delay based, man. It's worse than delay. Let me talk about this lobby system. I have about 43.9 gigabytes of content from Strive on my PlayStation right now.
Damn.
I played at least 40 hours of that beta, and I didn't even get early access or anything. So you can imagine if I did, I would have been grinding. And by far the worst thing about the Strive beta was those lobbies. When I tell you, trying to get into a match has never been so down bad and horrendous for me in any fighting game. Ooh, boy, them Strive lobbies are terrible. You load into a lobby, and you know what happens when you load into a lobby? You got to make a coin flip off rip. That coin flip is going to say whether or not the servers are even up. Because for a good 3 days, them servers was not functioning. Once you pass that coin flip, you gotta go in. You walk up to someone, if they're even where you think they are, because there's desync in the lobbies too. That was another issue. People would be standing one place and in a completely other one. And I saw this for myself when I saw a friend of mine trying to walk to the right to match with a person, and then he just not just that, the teleports too. That's another issue with the lobby. Teleporting halfway across the map.
I love the teleporting is not just like you disappear and reappear, it's you float towards the location.
Yeah, you see the float. It's so wacky.
You are Casper. You are Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, you're right. It was a coin flip getting in, and not only was it a coin flip on if the servers were up or not, it was a coin flip as if you were connected to the server correctly. Because I saw a bunch of streamers, they get into a floor 10 or floor 7 or whatever it is. They try to connect to someone, connection error, and apparently there was a bug where if your portrait wasn't reflecting your character, or if it was, because I think the default one is soul.
Yeah.
Showed that you were never you weren't going to connect. It was like 100% chance that you were not going to connect to that match, and the only way to fix it was to leave that floor and then come back into the lobby system.
Yeah, I had that issue a lot where I would go into the I'm blanking, but I go into a match, that's what it is, and I'd see Soul as my opponent, and I go, oh, well, that's match is not gonna work. Or we both get Soul, and we go, oh, well, that's not gonna work. Or another one I had, we started loading because his character was there and everything, but you know how you're loading and you see your character, you see your player name, you see your level, and you see the portrait of the character. Yeah. The name was not there and the level was not there. Neither were the badges for my opponent. Just his character portrait. And I said, oh, this is not going to work either.
See ya. Send it. And I mean, that was another coin flip. Like, if you were a degenerate and picked Soul, like, I'm not sure if people were going to avoid you, thinking the match wasn't going to work, or if you got in and suddenly just round start, wild throw, see you later, there goes your health, Soul's now a grappler. Suck it up.
He did do a lot off that command grab, huh? I tried to RC that in the training mode to get a combo. It wouldn't let me. It just got better Oki because of RC.
Oh god.
I would have
Oh,
played
man.
Soul too, but I couldn't do that. So Kai it is. Good old fair and honest Kai.
Shut up.
Mr.
Shut up,
DP into RC 50-50 Kai Kisuke.
Scumbag. I was playing Giovanna. So
Giovanna, you're not much better than me, Mr. Plus Frames. Mr. Plus Frames.
Can't be on steroids.
Man.
Nah,
Look, all my Oki is plus, but you're plus whenever you hit a button. That's different. That's crazy.
I don't have a dive kick. I am not Cammy. Thank you very much.
This guy, I don't
just wait till I get my hands on Angie.
This guy, he's gonna be being a real DJ, and he's gonna have mid-screen set play. You thought Kai corner set play was bad. The mid-screen set play on Angie, that's gonna be crazy. Hey, I got a real question though. We seen the butterfly in Angie's trailer. Do y'all think it's gonna hit overhead? No. I want to believe, man. I want to believe they're going to give him the overhead butterfly.
So, actually, saying that, thinking on this, now that I remember that Strive doesn't have EX moves, so for guys in my chat who don't do fighting games, EX moves meaning you use bar, so it's a special version. In +R, where I play Angie myself, surprisingly, the first character I picked up, blame Sejam for letting me pick Angie, by the way. He said, choose a character you like the look of and try him out. I found Angie, he looked cool, and I've stuck with him, so it's all Sejam's fault. But yeah, +R has EX move. You use meter, and it's called a FB, so force break move. Strive, or New Gear Gears, don't have this functionality. Let's get Anki, I will have a drink in a second. Yeah, Strive does not have force break moves. And so if the butterfly doesn't, if there's no EX butterfly, I actually think it will hit overhead, but only on second hit. So when it blows up, like touches the opponent, goes up in the air, and comes back down, that is going to be an overhead.
I would love to see that. I'm trying to see the 2S 2D unblockable overhead 50-50 with the lows.
With Angie is his freaking forehead, man.
Man, I'm trying to see that though. I'm trying to see the unblockables.
But I don't care. That dude's forehead is massive in Strive for no reason.
But he got the drip though. Everyone in Strive got the drip.
He has drift, but them glasses throw me off.
Glasses are actually, as the glasses wear, they're tight.
As someone who also wears glasses, they're cool, but they're just so tiny. I get that's the aesthetic, but come on,
Like
the hipster glasses?
No, they're not even hipster because hipster glasses are usually thicker. He's got like those librarian glasses.
Yeah, he is a librarian. That's it. He's gonna say, read some books, see this butterfly. What sort of butterfly is it? Oh, it's in your face. Suck it up. Fujin.
But no, since we're already on the topic of Strive, let's discuss another game that's getting rollback, possibly, is the King of Fighters 15. I'm pulling up the tweet now from Oda.
I've got the tweet here.
Yep.
From SNK Oda. Yasuyuki Oda, KO15 in development is his name. Great to see lots of passionate SNK rollback fans. You'll be happy to hear that we have been working hard on an internal rollback solution for King of Fighters 15 from early in the dev cycle. There's still a lot of work remaining, so we can't make any promises yet, but please be patient. Shatter all expectations is Rotary Cookie was good, Rotary, and there are no promises. Right, I've got two things before we jump off on this one.
All right.
Firstly, SNK can go suck a nut. Actually, no, sorry. SNK as a company doesn't need to go suck a nut. The people that own SNK now can go suck a nut, but we can talk about that at a later date, and that can be whatever. Secondly, this got announced after the second roundtable, which is what I think you're going to go along with Synder. There was a second JP developers roundtable to talk about fighting games and what they were doing, because obviously COVID, no one's really doing much, there's no events. I'm stuck here editing on photos, which I don't mind, but I want to be at an event right now taking photos, and Rollback is giving us games to play. But the fact that they didn't announce this in the roundtable this sounds like a lot of empty promises to me.
I have a really big issue with the roundtable and how that happened, yeah. But I think I've rationalized one of two possible situations. Now, the optimistic one is that we know someone told Giuna and the others that he couldn't actually say rollback, but then Harada, I believe, said it, so that opened the floodgates. So my first thought was that the other devs, someone along that line is out of touch and told everyone don't talk about rollback. Even if you have rollback, don't say it. But then Arxis and Harada brought it up. So that was what opened the floodgates.
Harada being Harada is another issue of mine.
Yeah.
He is just, don't ask me for shit, Harada. I don't care. Just be professional and call me shit, call me whatever. I don't care. But at least if someone tells you not to do something, listen, because it's part of the bigger plan for your company, and hopefully fix Tekken.
Because he brought it up and Arxis brought it up, but that was because people were talking about the Strive beta, and I remember Arika brought it up as well. He was talking about how good the netcode was. So my other thought is that SNK didn't bring it up because they literally just decided to announce it. They were like, we need to get the fans to make sure they're still interested in the game. You know what people have been hounding us about, Oda-san? Rollback. Oda-san said, yes, rollback. All I need to do is head to Twitter. That's the other possibility.
So there's a couple of things that I want to bring up. Specifically, so we talk about the roundtable, and you mentioned that like not mentioning rollback, and not that I am at all familiar with Japanese business and etiquette, but I had a zero expectation that they were going to announce rollback at the roundtable, even whether they had it or not, because that is essentially stepping on developers' toes, so to speak. Like it's showing them up.
That was actually something I considered as well. Yeah, maybe that was the reason they didn't bring it up, because that puts every other developer there on the spot, essentially. Like if you're not Arxis, you're suddenly on the spot. How's your rollback looking? Well, you know, Tekken is 3.
Read well.
However, I don't believe, just like other unnamed Japanese devs who have said that rollback was planned from the get-go, I don't believe Oda for a second. I have almost 0% believability that they had planned rollback from the very beginning of the dev cycle, or early on, as he put it. I think that they obviously know about it by now.
Especially with all the titles they have that have it now.
Well, I mean, that's Code Mystics, and of course they understand that it's there, but they also, they probably have a thing where it's an older game, easier to implement rollback, which is true, but they also have like, it's an older game, it's not a new title, blah, 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 it costs too much money to put into a new title, other things like that. But I think that and I think Oda even mentioned it, he was surprised at the amount of positive stuff he was seeing from Strive's announcement of rollback and the beta. And I think that they were just like, whoa. We considered this before, but we didn't really think that it was going to sell units. But considering the amount of just noise going around with Arc System Works and Strive over, even when you look at the negatives, people are still talking about rollback super positively. Top Japanese players are being able to play top players in America with, extremely good netcode. And I think that that's what happened, is that they were just like, oh, yeah, let's add this and say that we've been doing it.
You know what I just remembered? Skull Gold, which is another topic at some point. Sonic Fox, obviously a prolific Dragon Ball Fighters player, but also a Skullgirls player, because obviously he's friends with the Kill Sage. He played Goichi in Skullgirls when Goichi turned around and said, actually, I might give Skullgirls a go. And someone bought Goichi Skullgirls, and they played while Sonic Fox was on Wi-Fi. I think that may have been a little inkling to push Japanese developers to go, okay, maybe we should consider Rollback.
Pro player influence, I can see that being a possibility. It wouldn't be the first
a Japanese pro player.
Yeah.
I can definitely see it, maybe not necessarily one-to-one affecting developers, but definitely because like you've seen it before. I mean, just in the Stripe beta, you saw a ton of Japanese top players being like, "Holy crap! I can't believe I can play to the U.S. and actually have a good connection." Type stuff. Saw it from tons and tons of players, and I don't want to say it's Stockholm syndrome, but it almost feels like Stockholm syndrome, where they're just like you're trapped by Japanese developers into like, and it's also part of like a Japanese culture where you don't speak out as much, et cetera, et cetera. You don't badmouth other people as much as the Western stuff does too. But at this point, it's like they've had multiple games now where the rollback has been good in games that they play. It's not just Mortal Kombat. It's not just Killer Instinct. Stuff like that. It's Guilty Gear. It's KOF. Older KOFs. Stuff like that. And they're sort of starting to see the light. And even if these, the Japanese players are not like in super contact with the devs see this. Like I don't believe that they don't see some of this stuff, and it doesn't take into account.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
I think something interesting going forward definitely is going to be how games without rollback actually are affected by this. Because we saw what happened sort of with Grand Blue, where it released in 2020. They had no rollback, and it wasn't instantly, but the game was essentially dead upon arrival due to the lack of it.
Yeah, it was a walking ghost.
It's a walking ghost. I mean, I still see Team Spooky upload matches, so I'm guessing it's still being run on NLBC. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Weekly Grand Blue versus on NLBC.
Yeah, and also with Callisto, he's still running his SSG. I can't remember, Super Sentoshi Goku Girls something. I don't know what he's called, his Grand Blue tournament series. But that's the only two I know of. And yeah, apart from that, Grand Blue is pretty dead.
Yeah, I mean, let me we were talking about this in Discord, and someone brought up the Steam charts for it.
Oh god.
And it had an average of, in the past 24 hours and 30 days, around 200 to 230 people playing, which is more than I thought, to be honest, on Steam.
That is actually more than I thought. I thought it'd be like hundreds, like literally in the 100.
But still, for a game that was like super, like it, I mean, and everyone was saying, I mean, I don't think very many people who played the game didn't think that it was like fun.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I played it, and it was fun.
But the issue, of course, is that the Netcode is simply not up to par for not only
and another issue is the pricing that they did.
Oh god, the pricing.
The game is still $90 for the full game plus DLC on Steam. And it hasn't received more than, I think, a 20% discount in the entirety of time that it's been out, which is ridiculous especially during COVID, where like people are inside playing games. Like, you want them to buy your game right now because everyone's inside playing games.
What else are you gonna do?
And yet you don't give the people who are willing to, like, there's still people who are like, yo, if Grand Blue was like 40 or 50% off just the base game, they would buy it.
Yeah,
we're good. You can hold that 15% discount if you're lucky. If you're lucky to get that.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because like we've mentioned, Grand Blue came out just before COVID, the pandemic shut the world down. So this was what, February, March time?
I think it
last
came out
year,
in January, right?
It came out in January, yes. So we had a good month before lockdown happened, here in the UK at least. And whilst the game was fun, and yes, I played Gran, so you get my character choices out of me today. I've got Angie and Gran under my belt. Let's go.
Man, you play a little
says a
bit.
lot about
Play
me.
a little bit DJ in there, buddy.
Yo, I play Sakura in Street Fighter 5, so screw you guys. Tim's baby, let's go, Rory. Yeah, no, Grand Blue came out. The netcode wasn't great. It was delay based, and for that 1 month that we were able to play online, it was okay. The problem is when a game's popularity dies down, you start looking elsewhere for games. So that's in other regions, different lobbies. You don't want to go on Discord. It goes, who wants some games, and also say what region you're from. And yeah, Grand Blue has this issue.
I just checked the on Steam because I don't have the game on Steam or anything. It's not even $90 to get Grand Blue Character Pass set for the base game set 1, and then set 2 is actually about $120.
Jesus. Okay.
All right, so
that's an expensive fighting game.
£120, Great British pounds. $120 for most of the Americans who are in my stream. And it's still a lot of money, especially when the pandemic, where a lot of people may be on furlough who don't have solid jobs, who aren't working because their work's shut down. Yeah, no, I'm not spending that much money just to play some games, have some fun when I need to live and eat food.
Games that don't even have rollback. That might not even be good quality games.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's if you're buying, well, it's almost 2 games now, but that's
call it 2 games.
It's 2 games.
It's just well, I mean not now since games are $69.99.
Oh yeah, there's some games are $70 now.
Yeah, but just for the sake of argument, that's 2 full price brand new AAA title games.
Last of Us 2 twice. Let's go.
Yeah, or whatever it is, you can buy. You can buy all of Street Fighter pretty much right now, like literally everything. I think for around $60, give or take.
Yeah, no.
Which is way more characters.
Half the price, pretty much.
Half the price for more characters, better online, and I mean, yeah. Overall, it is better online.
Overall, the experience will be better. Yes.
And much more players. Like significantly more players. You can go into a ranked mode and actually play ranked.
And there is no dodgy lobby system, which our system seems to love.
Man,
you just hit up training mode, or you just hit up that button to ranked. You press that button, you set your character, you go 5-bar quality, whatever that means, because obviously we don't know what 5-bar means. Crossplay as well. Thank you, Rotary. You can. Street Fighter 5 is the only current generation fighting game that I know of that can play across PS4, possibly PS5, and PC still.
Besides Power Rangers, yeah.
There's Power Rangers, Street Fighter, that's PS4 and PC. KI does Xbox and PC.
Yeah, but current gen we're talking about.
Yeah. For PC, that's just those 2. Unless if you count like the more,
smaller indie titles like Brawlhalla and stuff like that.
Well, can we call Brawlhalla indie? It's basically the biggest game.
Dude, that's esports.
It's construction.
In its development, it's indie.
Player base.
Fair enough.
That's
player base.
That's some money.
Player base is probably the biggest there is, but construction indie, yes.
Brawlhalla is a money laundering scam, man. I don't care what anyone says.
There it is again.
I think we've got to discuss that at one point. I think that's for next week where we actually dive into Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla, whatever you want to call it. Because it's madness. I know some people are playing that. And seeing the numbers this week when someone posted like earnings, that was crazy.
Well, there was a tournament, I think, this week.
It's their world championship right now. It's a 1 million prize pool. All
right, for fighting games, that is large. For esports, that is a drop in the ocean. Because if we compare it against the international for Dota 2, Worlds for League of Legends, fucking Apex.
Like Call of Duty, Apex.
Yeah, it's small money. You spend $1 million just on production minimum.
For sure, but at least for fighting games, that's a lot of money.
That's massive. That's 4 times the biggest ever prize pool, I think, right? Because the biggest has been Capcom at 250K.
I think so. I'm not sure what Dragon
Capcom
Ball
was
was recently. I forget their nationals.
I don't think
Either
it
way,
was that
still better than
much.
Smash. Still better than Smash with your gold controller from Evo Japan.
Listen,
That's
Drift,
all you
right,
want.
you're bringing up painful memories, all right, man? Come on now.
Mate,
My God,
the fact is, and you say painful memories because I'm not a Smash player. I'm reveling in this. They dropped it on stream. They brought it out to the player who won Smash at Evo Japan and accidentally dropped it on stage.
Yeah,
So,
I
oh,
was
sorry,
watching.
there's a little bit of scuff. It was the best thing ever that I watched.
One more off topic, just for the Smash thing. Do y'all remember when they gave Smash players golden arcade sticks at that one tournament? And
When was
Zero
that?
looked at it like he didn't know what it was.
Bro, that was so
I
funny.
remember-
I remember seeing a clip of that. Like, I don't know the entire history behind that, but I saw the clip and I couldn't help but burst out laughing when I saw it because he actually looked at it. And the way he looked
Like,
at it, he was like, "What is this? What is this
Yeah,
contraption?"
Yeah, like, what is this? Like, it was so. I don't remember the tournament. It was a bigger tournament. It wasn't like some smaller regional.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like a super major. I just don't remember which one off the top of my head. But all the top placings got gold, like gold. I don't know if they were real gold or not. Probably gold plated, I would imagine.
Probably gold plated.
Arcade sticks.
Yeah.
And the guy handed it to Zero, and Zero looked at it like it was like it had the plague on it.
But he looked at it like he
Okay.
never seen it. It looked like a UFO to him, essentially.
Yeah.
It was a UFO.
Man.
For those that don't play Smash, you use a controller,
GameCube,
like a GameCube
right?
controller. Yeah, GameCube controller is what you normally use. Maybe a hitbox style controller, or fight stick for Smash, or the Smash box, but an actual fight stick controller that you normally use in an arcade, you never see that at Smash because you don't have enough buttons.
You do have enough buttons. It's just the setup is abysmal for your. It's worse than a GameCube controller for ergonomics. Like,
And I never thought I'd hear that.
yeah, I've seen at a when I used to go to my locals, a guy who used to play. He was a Street Fighter player and he played Melee, and he played Melee on a stick, on a Razer Panthera, one of the old ones. And that dude, I don't know how he did it, because it was like some weird ass stuff.
Did he have an extra hand, or just like use his feet for extra like buttons?
No,
or
so
something?
he had he used the 2 side buttons. He mapped them to not be start and because obviously there's only one start button on a GameCube controller. And he mapped it away from start. So he basically, if he wanted to do some things, he had to take his hand off the top and put it on the side.
Oh my God.
It's like, all right, give me 2 seconds. I've just got to reach round my controller so that I can hit a button.
He's over there pressing all the buttons with most accurate, precise movement to make sure.
Yeah.
Oh, let me make sure I hit this start button on the side. Man,
That's some
Anyway,
smoothing.
that was sort of the thing.
I wonder if that was more or less comfortable on his hands, because I've heard to sort of like finish up some of the Smash discussion, people have destroyed their hands playing Melee.
Yeah, me.
That's facts. All right.
I started as a Melee player in 2005.
Oh, you're calling me a DJ, and you've got a Smash player in here that we're
Man.
talking to?
Yeah.
Look,
I
you
didn't
play
start
Anju.
even like, looking at other fighting games until like around 08, 09, whenever Street Fighter 4 KI started being popular.
Popping off, yeah. Oh, no.
Before that, I was exclusively Melee. Didn't even really care about any other. Like, I knew Street Fighter, but I had no idea like anything about it. And I mean, I had other problems, but dude, my hands are busted. And I didn't even play like a Spacey. I played Ganondorf and Jigglypuff. So my
So you were just schmoving. You didn't even care about your hands. Like, all right, cool. I can just slap that way, slap right. I'm good. It's not like Street Fighter 4. Speaking of older games of that generation, Street Fighter 4 with El Fuerte, Run Stop Fierce, where my guy Pro Flute as RSI, because he kept on Run Stop Fiercing so much that he is now busted.
It's almost crazy to think the injuries some people take to their hands, especially when people from the outside looking into fighting games, esports, etc., they go, they ain't really doing much.
Yeah, it's
They
not a
aren't
real
gonna get any
sport. Whatever.
injuries. Yeah, you know.
That's another really good topic that I have a lot to actually talk on because I've had I have nerve damage in both my arms and not just from playing melee, from other
I was
things
gonna
too.
say melee been destroying you.
But melee definitely didn't help. But there's a lot of stuff because I've been going to physical therapy for my stuff for since 2010, on and off. Uh, and so that's definitely like an interesting topic because there's a lot of stuff involved in that, and not just from like the side of okay, you're doing damage to yourself, but also from the outside looking. Because I've had to tell people like, what why has your hand been hurting so much, or why is your elbow, or why is your wrist been having problems? Why are you feeling numbness in your pinky? I'll be like, well, I went over to a friend's house and we played melee for like 7 hours in a row.
Not a euphemism. We played melee.
Yeah, I wasn't
Man.
thinking too much about it, and they were like, "Wait, what were you? You were fighting?" And I'm like, "Nah, we were playing
We
video
were playing
games."
melee, bro.
The look you get is very interesting, and trying to explain to people. And I'm sure both of y'all have done this because you have friends that don't play fighting games, maybe, or
Yeah,
family
yeah.
members that don't understand it.
Not even
Explain
just
to
fighting
them-
games, but I think another thing is telling people how much money is made.
Bro, I don't even want to go into that.
No, not even made.
Made
How much have
and
you spent on fight sticks?
Oh God, it's not even talking
Exactly. I
about
think
spent.
this is a topic that we've got to discuss at a
Well,
later date.
that's
We'll
definitely
stay on
gonna be
topic for now
one
because
for
we've got a
next
list.
week.
We're making a list because this is episode 1, and
Yes.
we're getting some good ass content here. So, guys, let me know what you guys think in chat. If you want to continue like talking about these topics, we gotta do receipts. Rotary, exactly. We don't talk about how much we spend.
Oh, yeah.
But back to pain. Definitely, as a PSA for everyone involved, of whatever you do, always stretch. Like, the 3 of us, Synder, Itchy, and I are part of a Discord for Sajam. Sajam actually had tried a hitbox and fucked up his hands so badly he had to stop playing games for basically 3 months, I think.
I
2 to
think
3
so.
months.
It was about 4 months, yeah, 3-4 months, where he didn't
3-4 months.
play any fighting games. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just talking his face off, and oh my god, that man can talk now. But as a PSA, guys, look after yourselves. Stretch, do yoga, do whatever.
Stay
Just make
safe.
sure you stay safe, wear a mask, but try and be limber. Don't be a yoga instructor, but just stretch out and make sure you're moving, schmoving.
In any
Motherfucker, when was the
case,
last time I stretched?
yep. And in any case, moving on from there, to get sort of back on a little bit more news. Gogeta for Dragon Ball Fighters, Super Saiyan 4 specifically. He's been teased to have a showcase scheduled for March 6th at 9:30 p.m. CET or 12:30 p.m. PST.
Yep, so we've got the Street Fighter server update on the 4th, on Thursday, and then 2 days after that, on the weekend, we have Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 showcase.
And we already have Plus R update. So that's a lot of good stuff for content if you're
Yeah, a
looking
lot
for
of
this
anything to
week.
play.
Yeah, this week has been crazy.
You know, wish
but
was
yeah,
Dragon Ball Fighter
Dragon Ball-
doesn't have good netcode.
And this is what people have been complaining about. So semi off topic, on topic, US tournament organizer for Dragon Ball Fighters, sent out a tweet today saying that people don't care about rollback and netcode. They only care about good games
I mean,
or good gameplay.
I think
won't
I
say
saw
anything. Y'all
something
talk about this.
along the lines of that, and I kind of just shook my head the whole time.
To not get into deep, Bum has had some questionable
Takes.
Yeah.
before that I vehemently disagree with on that, and that's just another one.
I'm the same. Like, he tried starting beef with some of the UK Dragon Ball Fighters tournament organizers, and I'm just like, whatever. Like, this is a take. it's not a good one in my eyes. I can say that I'm a nobody. Like, he can turn around and say, "Who are you to disagree with me?" It's like, I disagree with your opinion. Carry on. Like, you can keep saying it, but I'm just gonna keep disagreeing, because if I don't care about netcode and I care about gameplay, then tell that to everyone else in the world that played broken ass games like Marvel. Marvel 2 was broken from the get go, right? Versions of Street Fighter were broken, like Third
And
Strike and stuff.
this is actually another good topic that we may get into on another podcast, but I think it's okay to have broken games as long as they're fun. Like MK9
Oh yeah.
is an MK.
Your
Man,
GG+R is broken.
as someone who came up playing MK9 Injustice 1, those were some broken games, but they were so fun.
Which one was which Injustice was it? Where
Injustice
you had
Gods Among Us.
Deadshot?
Deadshot?
Was
Oh,
it
the Deadshot zoning was Injustice 2.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
ooh,
no.
Lord. That was some zoning if I ever see. People complain
Yo,
about
sorry
zoning
guys,
in
Ringe
every
just
fighting
slid through.
game.
Thank you very much for the sub, Ringe. We're talking about Dragon Ball Fighters. You're at the perfect time. But yeah, broken ass games we definitely need to talk about. Injustice 2 with Deadshot and the zoning with the missile, whatever stage that was on top 8 or something, was dumb.
Man. But no, that's definitely another topic for a different day. Broken games that are fun versus balanced games. Because I feel like some balanced games are just very bland. MK11. But we can talk about that at a different time. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
definitely Gogeta.
Nice.
So
All right, was there a video dropped for Gogeta?
No video yet.
No,
We
no
just
video.
saw the it's just a screenshot that says he's
Yeah.
coming essentially. It's March 6th.
I mean, all right. So I am not up on my Dragon Ball lore. Forgive me for this, because it's I don't play Dragon Ball, and I barely read Super as it is because I got bored. Is Gogeta part of is Gogeta canon now in Dragon Ball Super, or
Okay.
is he?
I can hit you
Go
with
on.
the lore because I grew up on Dragon Ball.
Okay, good. Because I was gonna say I have no knowledge of Dragon Ball besides like the basic shit.
Oh,
'cause
that's
I've
all
never-
Like
good.
Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z
Part
is
myself.
basically my shit.
It's
Like
all
GT
good.
Goku is the only thing I really know about GT, and he is dumb as fuck.
So
But Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z is all I've got.
so this is the non-canonical version of Gogeta from GT. There is a canonical version now that is Gogeta Blue, who is already in the game. So you're going to have two Gogetas in the game now.
So is that Broly?
Yeah, Broly's canon now too. The Super Broly that's in the game with the Saiyan armor, he's also canon. He's from the movie. Both of those characters are now canon. But the old Broly that's also in the game, Z Broly as everyone calls him, the big guy, no Saiyan armor, he's not canon.
Yeah.
But they're
He was part of the film, wasn't he?
What, a part of a film? Yeah, he was a part of the other film, the first Broly film.
Yeah, the original Broly films, not the new one.
Yeah,
not the Super film. Yeah,
it's possible that through movies, Dragon Ball is starting to make some characters canon that weren't before, such as Gogeta and Broly and how they got redesigns. If that is what they're doing, all I have to say is give me Cooler. Make Cooler canon. Frieza's brother. I'm here for it. But
in the game, whatever.
That's about it for Gogeta. That's a quick announcement.
We don't really have any really news about him besides that he's in the game.
Yeah, he's coming March 6th. Like, we'll see the showcase then. But
I did see and I can't find it because it's lost in the thousands of messages that have gone by in Jim's Discord, but someone linked that on a website where they they have to confirm information that Gogeta was announced was locked in on March 6th. So there's a possibility that he gets launched on the announced date.
Ooh, so same day? So like
So they're just gonna drop it?
That would be very interesting actually. He comes in on the announcement, the showcase finishes, and they say, alright, and you can play Gogeta right now.
See, don't they do that though with like the start of the season?
No, They give you rough dates for some characters. I think they did that with,
Yeah.
but usually they don't make anyone playable on the same day. At least not with Dragon
Yeah.
Ball.
Who got announced on after Dragon Ball Fight Grand Finals?
Baby Vegeta, but he wasn't playable until
No, he wasn't. Someone else was though.
it was Baby Vegeta and Gogeta.
And they announced them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
They
both.
announced Baby,
Gogeta
and
was
then they gave
teased.
Baby. Yeah,
but
and then he was teased.
But yeah.
And Rotary's got a good point. Can't wait to land for 2 hours, then go back to playing a game of Rollback.
Man, if that ain't the
And-
truth, I haven't touched Dragon Ball in some months.
And that's the thing, right? I do follow a lot of Dragon Ball Fighter players, professionally, and also streamers. Because Damascus and Tyrant in the UK are basically community managers for Dragon Ball Fighters. They're not. It's not their official title, but they are basically handling a lot of the showcases, and they did that
They
little.
basically run the showcases now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are my
And
boys.
they do
and
the
they are good
tournament
people.
commentary too.
Yeah, and they also have their own podcast, or I say podcast, their own Dragon Ball Fighters podcast, Sparking Cast, every Friday. And that is not a plug. They're not paying me for this one. But a lot of pro Dragon Ball Fighters players have gone to play Strive, loved it, and goes, damn, I've got to go back and play Dragon Ball Fighters with no rollback, with rubbish netcode, and hold that.
I think something interesting actually that the Strive beta is putting in perspective for a lot of people who haven't played who haven't played rollback games before, because a lot of those players are anime players that they're seeing, oh, this is what rollback is, this is the hype around it, this is why people love it so much, and then they're going back and playing their old games and they're going, oh.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing because, like, I mean, you look at other games that have rollback. KI, very much a American, very almost insular in its community.
Almost cultish, cult following, you could say.
Listen, KI deserves it, but
Facts.
then you have, like, some other games, the older games that people don't really like. They don't have a following anymore,
Yeah,
or if they do, it's very, very small.
And there's NRS games, which are very much so.
A lot of, again, NRS is sort of very insular in its pro scene. Like, the community and the pro scene is very, very segmented from, like, most Street Fighter and especially anime players. So when you get an anime game that has really good netcode, which basically hasn't been done besides +R and KOF, but those are old games, it really hits home, like, how good a new game can be with rollback.
Definitely. Which is definitely hitting people who haven't experienced it much before.
And for those in chat, and those that are listening in, you may have played a rollback game without noticing. For example, Third Strike on Fightcade, that does use rollback. And you go, wow, this actually works really well. And sometimes you're probably playing against some Brazilian calling you names, but you have that connection from wherever you are to Brazil. And then you go and play a current generation game, Street Fighter, Dragon Ball, and go, I can't even play the guy across the street. What the hell is this?
Well, yeah, I mean, and just sort of going back to Strive one more time, Sonic Fox was playing Goichi in Strive lobbies, and they were doing Wi-Fi tests. Sonic Fox was in Ohio at the time, so he's playing from Midwest to Japan on they are playing from Midwest to Japan on Wi-Fi. And while, yes, the connection is not going to be great, it was playable according to both of them. It wasn't just Sonic Fox saying, oh yeah, this is playable. It was both of them.
It's still on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was both of them saying, you know what, there's problems, but this is definitely playable, which is amazing to me because that is about the farthest away you can possibly be in the world almost.
And that was while he was testing Wi-Fi. So
Exactly.
Imagine buying that $2 15-foot cord of Ethernet cable, plugging it directly into the router, and going, oh, wow, okay, well, this is a lot less latency, and I can play and it looks even cleaner than before when compared to when I was on Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah. Speaking of rollback and good games with rollback, since we need to, I guess, move on. We have a tournament that's happening, right?
Yes,
Do we?
sir.
We do.
So
Sajam-
recently, Sajam announced the If you want to, actually, you can go ahead, Ichi. I cut you off.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. So Sajam is hosting Lockout. It's going to be on his channel, twitch.tv/Sajam, March 20th. It's going to have $1,000 prize pool, and Sajam is teaming up with the people at Smash GG to run KI tournament. I don't believe he's put a cap on it or have signups up yet. He mentioned that there was going to be a 128 cap is what they were going for. They might do more than that if the interest is there. But yeah, this is another really good KI stays winning again. They just had the Twitch Rivals thing, which did really well.
I
Hopefully,
still need to go watch that actually.
yeah. So hopefully this does really well too. And this is different than that in that this isn't going to be an open bracket tournament. So the KI Twitch Rivals was an invitational of KI streamers and players. This is going to be open bracket. So if you're out there, if you've played KI, if you've never played KI before, this is a good chance to get in there and sort of see. KI is a very, very fun game. I can't play it because it drains my mental faster than any other game possible. KI is the thinking man's fighting game. People like to say that a lot about older games and stuff like that. KI is one of the few games where you have to think offense, defense, and everything in between.
That's facts. I've played it for half an hour, 30 minutes, and my brain went to mush. And this was straight after waking up, having a coffee, having breakfast, fresh. And I play this game and I go, what the hell?
I personally,
Alongside, go on, Synder, sorry.
and also, not only is KI very much so a thinking man's game, but because of this and how the game works, it's a very fun spectator game. I don't have a good enough PC, or at least I don't think my MacBook is good enough to run it, and I don't have an Xbox. So a lot of KI I've seen has been while watching the game, and it looks amazing to watch people almost. It's like watching continuous reads between players when the combos go off and the breakers go off and the counter breaker goes off. You go, oh my god,
And
he
the
read him and he
music.
got the breaker. Oh my god, he read his breaker with a counter breaker.
Shadow counters, stuff like that. It's super mind game, and it's one of the VIT and 3S are like two of the games that I think benefit from longer sets more than almost
For
any other
sure.
game
That's facts.
because mind games go into it so heavily.
To quote Shrek, I don't think I ever said that. Killer Instinct is like an onion. There are so many layers, and you just keep peeling back and peeling back. And it's just such a good, as Cinder said, it's such a good spectator game to watch because things are happening on screen. There's lots of graphics, a lot of particle effects. The music is amazing. If you like a bit of rock, this is definitely one of the better soundtracks alongside Guilty Gear for a bit of rock music to go with your fighting game. But also, I want to very quickly bring attention to the person who created this graphic for Sajam, Drewface. Like he is Drewface, a homie. He made this graphic, and he has actually offered in this tweet the wallpaper if you want it without text. And he is also open for commission, so hit him up. He is one of the homies, and so I want to give him a good shout out because he is a decent guy. But back to Sajam and this tournament, March 20th, Killer Instinct. There is a very good resource if you want to learn Killer Instinct after if you watch this tournament and go, okay, I want to play this game if my PC can run it, because even though a lot of current gen, speaking of if you can run the game or not, Cinder, a lot of current gen PCs actually struggle a little bit with Killer Instinct because of how particle heavy particle effect heavy it is. I mean, you may be able to, but on low quality settings, like put everything to bare minimum, and
Gotta
you should be
turn
able to
off
run
the
it.
particles and everything.
Basically, don't get HDR, you don't get all of that fun jazz.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm running a 2070 Super, and I think I still need to put certain things on medium just to make sure it runs smoothly at 60.
Yeah, I have a 2080 Super, and I think I can run everything on high and hit 60, but like some of the ultra settings, it kind of dips sometime. Which, considering the game came out in what 2012,
13?
13, something like that, that's pretty
It's
impressive.
it came out on the launch of the Xbox One, not the One X, the One.
The one, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, guys,
The-
definitely if you guys want to watch a good online tournament with 8 netcode, lobbies notwithstanding, and how that all set up. March 20th, twitch.tv SageJam, Lockout. It is going to be a good watch. I can almost guarantee that. I would put money that it's going to be a good tournament to watch.
you'll see at least me and Drift there. I'm sure Synder, you'll probably be there.
Oh, I'll be
You'll
there
start through.
spectating for sure. I won't be able to play in it, unfortunately, but I'll definitely be spectating.
I'm not even going to enter.
I'll be
I'm not
modding, watching y'all DGens pop off in chat.
And if you want a taster, actually, of Killer Instinct, Combo Breaker 2019, I think it was, on YouTube, top 8 Killer Instinct, give that a watch. That is probably one of the hypest top 8s I've ever seen. Because things are happening, and especially the grand finals, it was maddening. I think you, Itchy and Sid, you might have seen this, where it was Pyro versus Saberwolf.
Synder Saberwolf, yeah. It was
Yeah.
Wheels, right?
Yeah, Wheels.
That was fire.
And
Yeah,
that shit was fire. So if you
also,
guys want to watch that, definitely should.
Want to play instead, the Windows Store has a free version of KI. You don't get all the characters. You get it does a rotation, very similar to League of Legends or MOBAs, where you get a certain amount of characters and it changes. But also the game goes on sale for like $10, $20 at least once a month. I assume that it'll probably go on sale because of this tournament or around the time of this tournament, just because of that. I think it went on sale for around the Twitch Rivals as well. But it's definitely worth it. It's like $20 for like all the characters, the full game, everything like that. And considering how crazy some of the DLC characters are, it's definitely worth it.
And for those who are watching my stream, I have just brought up the Bible of Killer Instinct. If you guys do want to get into it or want to know more about Killer Instinct and how it plays, ki.infil.net. Again, this gentleman in Infil, he is a scholar, literally and figuratively. He made this by himself, and it breaks down Killer Instinct to a T. So if you want to know more about the game, definitely have a read through. Just browse through, have a look. It'll break things down in a nice, easy, digestible way, and you won't even notice that you're absorbing information. It's amazing.
Furthermore, anyone who's looking to get into KI, even if you just want to spectate, I say the Twitch Rivals event, Combo Breaker, check out the streamers in the Twitch section for sure. Make sure to support them as well, because you always gotta remember the FGC is not that big compared to other game communities, so we always have to support each other. But no, moving on from KI and how crazy the lockout is going to be, other tournaments that we could highlight really quickly that we personally know are going on is Hoopcup from SageJam's Discord. I don't know actually though, one issue, if Bones is still doing Hoopcup this week because of the server maintenance tomorrow.
Ooh, that is a good point.
Yes. However, normally every Wednesday in SageJam's Discord, Bones will have the Hoopcup, which is a Street Fighter V tournament for. It varies from beginner only to open bracket completely. And it's open to entry pretty much. And he also
region
does.
locked. It's open to anyone. Every other week they do beginners, which is gold, which is up to gold and below. And then so 1 week it's beginners, 1 week it's open, and then vice versa. And then on Tuesdays, they have Weebcup, which is right now Weebcup is +R only. I know that they are planning on doing Strive once it comes out. Again, open bracket. It's anyone, and it's non-region locked as well, which +R has good rollback, so it doesn't matter as much. But so,
like I said, I've played Australia and it's okay. So
Quick question, actually,
Rollback
Ichi,
is
if you
key.
know, do you know what platform Strive is going to be on for Weebcup?
most likely PC is what I believe Bones and Trinity were saying.
Okay.
It's not
Correct.
confirmed, but because they run through Discord, they run the whole tournament, everything through Discord. Making it on PC is easier. So unfortunately, right now we don't have crossplay with PS5, PS4, but
Hopefully that changes.
Fingers crossed.
yeah, hopefully that changes.
That's something we missed on Strive.
Said,
Which, speaking of Hoopcup, Street Fighter V is allowed for cross-platform.
yes, it is. It
Yes.
is crossplay. But yeah, Daisuke said that they are looking into it, which could mean anything under the sun. Could mean they literally looked at the word crossplay and then forgot about it. Could mean that they're doing it right now. Who knows?
Hopefully that all goes well, because crossplay is definitely something after rollback that I think should be in every fighting game.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree.
That's so true. But yeah, Hoop Cup every Wednesday, region locked every other Wednesday, golden below for beginners. And if you are golden below, feel free to join. Join in Sage Jam's Discord. You'll find it under tournament. And also on Tuesday, Weeb Cup, as in Weeaboo, and that is currently +R. And that is not region locked because of glorious rollback. Welcome to rollback again, gentlemen, ladies and gents.
You love to see it.
You love to see it for sure. I can't get enough. Right, so quick story. I bought +R because it had rollback in November last year, 2020. I have now put in nearly 100 hours just playing +R. I have not touched other fighting games since. And the only other two fighting games I have on my current PC is Street Fighter V and Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct I need to definitely put some time into, and that has rollback. But Street Fighter V, which was my bread and butter, the one I played daily, has just disappeared. Even with this new patch, I don't want to touch it. I just want to keep playing +R and keep throwing out butterflies.
And a big part of that is obviously, if I can speak correctly, is the fact that the netcode is just much better. Like,
Facts. Like I said, I've played against Europe, which obviously isn't too far from me because I am in the UK, but I've played nearly all of America, regions-wise, and the furthest I've gone is Australia, which is literally the opposite side of the world, and that is playable. Obviously, the person I play against plays Justice, so they are committing war crimes, throwing out nuclear weapons or nukes, and so that's a different story, but it's playable at least. Nukes regardless. But I'm playing against you, Synder.
well, that's a good question. We'll have to see when I get a decent PC.
+R on your MacBook?
Do you think +R? Okay, there was actually a question I had with Jester in the Discord the other day. Do you think +R will run on my MacBook Pro?
Yes. If the only way that it would not is for whatever reason the software, like if +R has problems with Mac OS, it's not going to be a graphics issue.
That may be a thing. Because I know a lot of Steam games don't really work on Mac, let alone Linux.
Yeah,
So
you could probably run +R on a tablet, to be honest.
I mean, you can run Doom on nearly anything. So I think +R you should be okay.
I got a phone. Do you guys have phones?
You can definitely run +R on an iPhone.
I believe it.
What's running?
Man, some of these iPhones stronger than some PS3s, I think. I see. So, What is it, the iPhone 11 now? That is powerful.
It is strong. I'm scared of the camera it's got. But anyway, we'll
They do
discuss
add a new camera
cameras and
every
stuff
iPhone,
off
huh?
topic because I am a photographer. I do like taking photos. Yeah. Shall we wrap this up, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think we discussed all the stuff we had planned.
Indeed. Before we wrap up, actually, does anyone in chats have any questions?
Yeah, anyone got questions in chat? Who we got? Tato? Rotary? Taylor says he doesn't believe +R has Mac support. So Synder, you may be out of luck, and you may be ducking for life.
This guy.
You might be able to run a Windows partition on your MacBook. And
There is, yeah. I think it's what it's called.
Nah.
Boot Camp. It lets you install Windows.
That sounds like effort.
It does. That's the only
It's
issue.
not that hard. I used to do it a lot for my friend, but it's been a while. Yeah, that's good. You can run parallels in Mac
Gotcha.
with Steam.
No questions from Rotary.
Rotary got no questions. I see you guys. But guys, obviously, Synder is the host. I mean, Itchy and I are co-hosting, I guess. I don't want to steal the show, but this has been episode 1 of Lucky Fuzzies. It is called Lucky Fuzzies, right? I'm not just making
Yes,
shit
it's
up.
Lucky Fuzzies. Welcome to episode 1 of Lucky Fuzzies, or the end of. I hope you guys had a good time, enjoyed the stream, enjoyed the talk, enjoyed the chat. We'll be catching you guys on the next episode, same time next week. Does that sound good for y'all?
I'm good with that. Let's go.
Should be good for me.
Alright, cool. So same time next week, you guys should catch us again here, Lucky Fuzzies. I'm gonna drop the link in chat. Support everyone on their social medias, obviously.
Don't follow my social media.
Don't follow your social media.
Don't follow Ichigeki's social media.
If you want to, but be warned.
Ichi got
Yeah,
the
be very
NSFW
warned.
on his social media. I don't
18
want to
plus minimum.
It's definitely 18 plus only.
It's not even 18 plus, it's 21 plus for you.
21 plus,
Degenerate.
Jesus.
Straight
I'm
up
not only a
degenerate.
melee degenerate, I'm a degenerate in real life.
Oh
That's
god.
Facts.
warning. If you want to find me, I'm pretty much the only Ichigeki out there, for the most part.
21 plus.
I'm gonna go check Ichi's Twitter, and it's gonna be wild. That's what's gonna happen.
No. Facts. Synder's just dropped his Twitch, which he was also co-streaming whilst we were doing this podcast. So thank you much, Synder. Obviously, you guys know who I am. I'm Drift.
You gotta
You've
drop
got
the
all my
YouTube as
information
well.
here. There's the YouTube, where this episode will be posted up to, because I ain't doing no work with this apart from talking my ass off.
It do be like that. Luckily,
do
I've
be
been
like that.
recording the whole time, so all I have to do is hit send afterwards.
It's all good. But yeah, guys,
Unedited.
this has been Synder. We've got Ichigeki and myself.
I'll catch you all on the next episode of Lucky Fuzzies. See you around.
Take it easy, guys.